Hi everyone, and welcome to my talk, A Brief History of Data Science. When you saw the title of my talk in the AI track, you probably thought that I was going to rush to the history and focus on the latest AI models, show you how they train, and warn you about how they're going to replace us. These are all wonderful topics, but we only have 10 minutes today. So instead, I am going to talk about history. At this point, you're probably a little skeptical because what's history have to do with tech? So I argue that in order to understand science, you have to know its history. If you chose to stay logged in, it means you're giving me the opportunity to convince you otherwise, and I hope it will be worth your time. But before we begin, a little bit about myself. I'm a data science team lead for the past 3 years. I'm a data scientist for the past 6. My background is in statistics and economics, and I'm passionate about using memes and now AI-generated images in my slides, which I hope you enjoy. So let's begin. In this talk, I will cover how it all began, how it is going, and how it might all end. It all started a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Well, almost. Since the beginning of time, people have been fascinated about artificial intelligence. I'm sure you're familiar with the Frankenstein story. But our journey begins in the 16th century, where mathematicians such as Leibniz believed that algebra and geometry could represent all logical thinking. They even imagined a future where two philosophers could not argue because there would be one model and one clear truth. Fast forward a little to the 19th and the 20th century, which are considered the golden era for mathematical explorations. Mathematicians are not just chatting about math, they're trying and succeeding to turn all these math rules into a problem-solving toolkit. By the way, we call them algorithms these days. Next, we enter the era of execution, where we transition from mathematical discussion to the creation of computational machines. A major breakthrough occurs during World War II, as Alan Turing succeeds to crack the Nazi code using logical computations. This was not his only success, as you know. He contributed a lot to the computer science domain and even benchmarked a test for artificial intelligence. In the meantime, modern-day statistics is being developed. In the 16th century, the foundations for probability are laid down, and during the 18th century, statistics step into the scene, tackling demographic and economic data. When these two fields collide, we can say that the new field of data science is born. Many give the official credit to John Tukey. He was a mathematician-statistician who contributed a lot to these two domains, but specifically his book, The Future of Data Analysis, which devised analytical tools being used to this day, is considered the main contribution to the beginning of this field. So, if data science exists since the 60s, where are all those scary robots that we see in sci-fi movies? Despite the initial excitement in the early days, funding for the field slowed down in the 80s. The reason? We just couldn't provide consistently impressive results. And so we found ourselves in what is now known as the AI winter. An illustrative example of these dark, dark times is John Minsky, who stopped his decade-long research on neural nets and deep learning as we know today due to lack of funding. By the way, if you ask any data scientist, our poor results back then and even today are only due to slow computational power. The next decades are marked by minimal research until a turning point in 1993. And no, not just because I was born, but because IBM started the development of the modern-day computer, along with a software named Deep Blue, which went on to beat a chess world champion. This achievement marks the beginning of the modern-day computers as we know today. So where are we now? We can see services that offer us off-the-shelf trained model in natural language processing and computer vision. Many companies have succeeded in generating revenue and value using these models. And we have amazing computational power that we can only dream of back then. For example, it is estimated that it took over 15,000 GPUs, more than 100 days, and a total cost of $100 million to train GPT-4, which is the basis of ChatGPT. So you can only imagine what humanity would choose to do without these capabilities. But apparently, many of us like to play with images, specifically to create cool images based on text, or images of people that don't exist as a combination of true people, and of course more. But we can't talk about data science today without mentioning 2023, which was a meaningful year, and not just because my daughter was born, but because major things happen in the world of data science. And these are just some of the buzzwords I'm pretty sure you heard. Now we're in an era of new type of models, generative models that can generate content. For example, high quality text to image generation, which is even available on your phone. Text to video generation, which is also available on your phone. And of course, chatbots and assistants. By the way, this is what ChatGPT thinks International Women's Day is and why it's important. These models can be customized for specific domains, for example, finance and medicine. And open source libraries and AI platforms exist to simplify the development of in-house applications using these models. So what does the future hold? These are some of my predictions for the future. Deploying models and data science features will become more accessible and straightforward. Engineers, developers, and other professionals, even without data science expertise, will increasingly use AI to improve their efficiency in their everyday tasks and to achieve their business objectives. And as part of that, we'll see cheaper AI services. And if it didn't already happen, we'll be running out of the AI domain names. Let's also talk about what's unlikely to happen. We probably will never be able to classify dogs with 100% accuracy. We probably won't replace low-income jobs. It's simpler to teach a machine to do complex math than to teach it to make the perfect pancake, as you can see. And we're probably far from replacing engineers and data scientists, as we are far from achieving general artificial intelligence. But it will be the new buzzword, so you can read up on that. Let's summarize. Data science is not new. Data science is not going away. Data science is not possible without proper R&D and a little time and money. So, what do you think? Is history relevant in a tech talk? Let me know what you think in the comments or on social media. Thank you for your attention.